ACL surgery sucks. Like, really, really sucks. There's the medical bills, the depression, the feeling like you'll never get back to yourself again. But here's a really weird plot twist that I could have never expected. My ACL recovery just paid me back $8,000. So quick context if you haven't seen my recovery journey videos. In 2020, tore my ACL, had surgery, then broke my kneecap 2 weeks after surgery. Genuinely one of the worst periods of my life. And the only thing that got me through it, besides physical therapy and learning how to walk again, was finding other people online who were going through the same thing. There was the ACL Club on Facebook and Instagram, Dr. Kiro and Dr. Wesley Wang's social media channels, and just watching other people's recovery journeys. All of that just helped me feel not alone and completely broken by myself. So I figured it might be helpful if I started to share my own journey as well. Not because I wanted to be like an ACL influencer or anything like that, but because I felt like I needed a community at that point in time. I figured other people might feel the same way hearing my story too. Fast forward to a year ago, 2024, I get a message on my Instagram from somebody named Alicia. And she had just torn her ACL. And while searching for recovery content online, she came across my videos. And she reached out to just tell me that some of my ACL content helped her get through some of the darkest times of her recovery journey. That watching somebody else go through that process made her feel less alone. And honestly, if you're going through the same thing right now, whether it's an ACL injury or something else that has you out of commission, that's exactly why I share some of the videos that I do. The message I got from Alicia alone made every single vulnerable moment where I showed up and shared my recovery journey online totally worth it. Now, here's where things get interesting. Turns out Alicia runs a business called Case in Points, and she helps people to maximize credit card points for free travel. And after thanking me for helping her through her recovery journey, she said,
"Hey, I'd love to return the favor. Can I look at how you're using your credit cards? Because I think I can help you."
And I was like, sure, yeah, I have credit cards. I think I'm doing okay, but it's worth a shot. Yeah, I thought I was fine, and I really thought I was maximizing my credit card points already, but I was like, why not, Let's see. Spoiler alert, turns out I was leaving a lot of money on the table. So when Alicia and I got on a call together, she shared with me something really interesting. She said going through her ACL journey completely changed how she thought about helping people with their credit card points, because she realized two things. Number one, medical bills from the ACL surgery and the entire recovery process in general add up insanely fast. Beyond the surgery itself, you have physical therapy appointments, usually twice a week for many months, surgeon follow-up visits, MRIs, medications, equipment for home rehab, gym memberships and fitness classes to eventually bridge the gap to get you back to feeling athletic again. And she had this moment where she realized you're basically spending this money anyways. But if you're strategic about which credit cards you use to pay for these things, you can rack up some serious points from the ACL recovery process for expenses that you can't avoid. And then you have a piggyback of points to pull from to go on trips for when you're feeling ready to get back out into the world. Now, the second thing she realized is that ACL recovery is mentally brutal, and it really helps to have something positive to look forward to. And this one really hit me because it is absolutely true. When you're 3 months post-op and you still can't jog or play the sport that you love, you need a goal or something to look forward to beyond just returning to normal. For me, back in 2020, it was like, I want to go hike in the Rockies when this is all over. And having that vision really kept me going when PT sucked and just progress felt like it was stalling. So because of those two things, Alicia really thought about how she could help people use their recovery expenses, again, the money that they're spending anyway, to fund those comeback trips. The thing that really can keep you going during the slog of your recovery. And even by the time she and I connected and I was years past my ACL recovery, she was like,
"Victoria, you're self-employed, you travel for work, and you have regular expenses. I bet we can help you travel a lot smarter."
And that's just what she did. So Alicia and I met over Zoom and we did this 90-minute call where she just asked me about my life. She asked me questions like, what do you spend your money on most? Where do you actually plan to travel and why? Do you have a dream trip in mind, but you're not sure how to make it happen? What matters to you most when you travel, and what actually don't you care about at all when you travel? And what's more important, the quality of trips or the quantity of trips? And after going through this, she basically started pointing out several ways that my husband and I were throwing away money. Specifically, we were both paying $95 annual fees when we could have had just one of those accounts and then had the other as an authorized user. So that was $95 a year that we were spending for absolutely no reason. We were paying rent every single month, which is our biggest household expense, and we're making 0 points on it. And we had points scattered across like 8 different programs, with them being too small to really matter in any given program. And here's the thing, Alicia's approach wasn't like get 47 different credit cards and try to beat the system by getting all these sign-up bonuses and track everything in a spreadsheet. It was very calculated and actually based on our lives. And more like, here are the 3 to 4 cards that are gonna make the biggest impact for your current spending categories that are gonna get you way more points than you're currently getting without having to spend any extra money. And she basically mapped it to everything we were already doing. So she recategorized where we would spend groceries, where we would spend our gym memberships, how we would pay for rent differently, all those things. I thought it was really interesting because it struck me as being very similar to an approach that I take with my clients in health and fitness. It's often not about chasing the million shiny new things. It's more about working on a few select things that are going to make the biggest impact, and in a strategic order. So based on my husband and I's specific situation as a household, she recommended 3 main changes. I'm gonna keep this somewhat broad strokes because the whole point of this is that what worked for our household is probably gonna be different than works for you, because the personalization is really key here. But some of these broader concepts are still helpful to think about. The first thing she had us do was starting to maximize our biggest monthly expense. We have one huge expense every single month that we were getting 0 points on. And Alicia showed us how we can both actually earn points on that same expense. No extra spending, no changing what we're doing, just really maximizing how we're getting points there. The second thing that she recommended for us was to get a hotel-based card. Based on the destinations that we wanted to go to and taking all that into account, she recommended a hotel-based card that was accessible at all those places and gave us 5 free bonus nights for just hitting a certain threshold of spending, which we're gonna hit anyways through our normal expenses. Again, the no extra spending is key. And since I travel to New York fairly regularly, where hotels are pretty expensive and usually close to $400 to $500, sometimes $600 a night, that single sign-up bonus was pretty much worth like $2,000 to $2,500. The third major change that we made was that we got a card with better rewards, more flexibility, and built-in perks. The third card also came with a big sign-up bonus, not the main reason why we chose that one, but the points were able to be transferred to multiple different types of airlines, including for international trips. So that card was particularly considered because we do want to take 2 international trips next year. The other fun thing is the card she recommended comes along with these like little built-in monthly perks that we get, like $10 in Uber credit every single month, and monthly Dunkin' Donut credits that my husband is absolutely loving right now. But the flexibility of finding a card that we can leverage for travel across multiple travel partners and the point value retention is great was so key. We didn't have to be locked into a certain airline. But again, I want to stress that this wasn't a game of us spending more money in any way to get any of these perks. This was just us reallocating where we were spending our money with different cards that were going to give us more return. They just matched what we were already doing. And our spending now just turns into more points earned per swipe. Okay, so let's dive into what actually happened in the last couple months since making these changes. So I had a New York trip where I had to go for 4 days, where I had some client meetings and a photo shoot. With the hotel card that we now have, I racked up a ton of points for future use and got 3 free nights. I ended up paying like $250 for what would have been like an $1,800 hotel bill. Next, I was able to book a trip for Arizona, which I will be taking in the next few weeks. Booked that flight completely on points, would have been about $420 cash, and I ended up paying about $11 in fees. And lastly, we just booked 2 trips for Florida for both my husband and I. One of those trips happening during peak travel season during Thanksgiving, and the other sometime in February next year. That would have been about $400 to $600 per trip. And on points, paid pretty much nothing. And the cool thing is we are still sitting on enough points to make a Japan trip happen next year. And it looks like we're gonna be completely covered on flights for that. So essentially that brings like our total cash saved for the year in the past couple months of using the system to $8,000, and that's without changing our spending habits at all. So if I could go back in time and have met Alicia sooner, I would have 1,000% made sure that those medical expenses that I was paying for my ACL recovery have gone to something like this, have been optimized to really get more rewards and be able to book more travel to look forward to. Because again, the ACL process and having a major surgery like that, it's hard mentally, emotionally, physically, but financially. And being able to really maximize how you're spending your money during that time, it's just such a gift. Which is why I wanted to share this video with you guys. It's not my typical style of video that I would share, but I think it's such a great resource to spend smarter. So if you can turn those medical bills that you're already paying from your ACL recovery process into a comeback trip, it just reframes the whole experience. So all in all, guys, if you're somebody who is spending money on groceries, medical bills, gas, rent, any of the typical stuff, and maybe you feel like you're not being super strategic about which cards you're using, or maybe you don't know if you're even optimizing the types of cards that you have, I cannot recommend reaching out to Alicia enough. It has been such a game-changing experience, and like I said, I just wish I had connected with her sooner. So if you're curious about doing something like that, then I'm going to put Alicia's information down below to her business, Case in Points. I'll put her website, her Instagram. You can message her there. She also has some fabulous workshops and different events that you can go and learn about what she does too. But She'll be able to help you map out your spending, your goals, and be able to tell you which cards make the most sense. I'm sharing this because Alicia genuinely helped me, and because this whole story is a good reminder that connecting in community matters. I helped Alicia in her ACL recovery without any expectations of return, and she ended up helping me in a completely different area years down the line. That's how a good community works. And I'm truly, truly grateful for each and every one of you guys watching these videos and that have gotten value out of me sharing my ACL story and that have shared yours in the comments. And as always, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.